already did it. With the subs up, you better listen. Coming up, but ain't no competition. Nah, I ain't tripping. All the boys got 'em moving to my flow. Now the girls got 'em dropping low. Going through the most, cause they ain't afraid to grow. Coast to the coast, I'ma hit your radio. Feeling bad every day. I know that. Now I'm finally on my way. I know that. I've been on my gun, I've been feeling myself. I do it all for me, man, and for nobody else. I'm looking what I see. Hit different. When a little mama got a big vision. Hit different. Aiming high, baby, I go the distance. I've been putting in work, putting in time, putting me first. Now my whole life hit different. With the bang, ready. Hit different. Ooh, over there, who's the hot one with the long hair? Looky, ooh, that's me. Mirror, showing I'm a bad bitch. And I don't see the girl that I felt. So down and out on the self. A total mind and body globe, down in every cell. Living it up, oh. And I'ma go and killing it, cause this is what I do. Dreaming about it every day. I know that. Now I'm finally on my way. I know that. I've been on my gun, I've been feeling myself. I do it all for me, man, and for nobody else. I'm looking what I see. Hit different. When a little mama got a big vision. Hit different. Aiming high, baby, I go the distance. I've been putting in work, putting in time, putting me first. Now my whole life hit different. With the bang, bang. Boom, boom, bang. Boom, bada, boom, bada. Hit different. Boom, bang. Boom, bada, boom, bada. Hit different. Coming in hot, I'ma get in it. Got you feeling that bass when I'm hitting it. With the bang. Hit different. When a little mama got a big vision. Hit different. Aiming high, baby, I go the distance. I've been putting in work, putting in time, putting me first. Now my whole life hit different. With the bang, ready. Hit different.
Say imitation is the highest form of flattery. But like it's using that equation, you must really fucking love me. Now I can blame you on the shit. Check the fit. Got you maxing out the visa, tryna cop the vision. Tryna be but everyone can see you're the cheapo repo pizza, and I'm the Mona Lisa. You're talking while I'm walking by. Look a little green, I know you do. Now you want what's mine, so take my advice. Get alive. Love me or hate me, but you're still super shady. Got my name on the daily, but you wanna be just like me. So fakey, want a piece of this cakey. I'm a superstar, baby. Yeah, you wanna be just like me. Wanna be, wanna be. Just like me. Wanna be, wanna be. Just like me. Got me faced. Get up on my lane. I'm a Sachi, you're a taste. I can't be replaced. I'm a shred. Check the fit. You're the cheapo repo pizza, and I'm the Mona Lisa. You're talking while I'm walking by. Look a little green, I know you do. Now you want what's mine, so take my advice. Get alive. Love me or hate me, but you're still super shady. Got my name on the daily, but you wanna be just like me. So fakey, want a piece of this cakey. I'm a superstar, baby. Yeah, you wanna be just like me. Wanna be, wanna be just like me. Wanna be, wanna be, wanna be, just like me. Wanna be, wanna be just like me. First it heals the hips, hit your screen, and baby now you're mine. Love on me, hate on me, you can get me off your mind. What I got to the top, all the body, yaddy. Top tryna cop how I pop, but they all look calling. I'll be tagging millies while you watch me. Sorry, but I ain't sorry. Stay all you want, get what you need. Just know the show is never free. Give me your good, ugly or bad, I still get the bag. Looky at my face, but you wanna taste. Got a lot to say, but you can't look away, babe. Sucky, hey, make you wanna play. Yeah, you wanna hit it good, wanna hit it like I'm pretty fade. Like you, or you don't, I'm gonna get money, make it on the internet. You can call it fake, you can go and hate, but you wanna hit it good, wanna hit it like I'm pretty fade. Help me put my money in a big bag, you gon' get me paid. Put your head and replay, got my name in your tongue, stepping all of this steak, make it eating no crumbs. Do how I do it and let it do what it does. Love on me, hate on me, you can't get enough, baby. Got a black without a degree, got a mag as I'm VIP, run it back and you feel the heat. I play the game and y'all want it, so I ain't crying over comments. Stay all you want, get what you need. Just know the show is never free. Give me your good, ugly or bad, I still get the bag. Looky at my face, but you wanna taste. Got a lot to say, but you can't look away, babe. Sucky, hey, make you wanna play. Yeah, you wanna hit it good, wanna hit it like I'm pretty fade. Like you, or you don't, I'm gonna get money, make it on the internet. You can call it fake, you can go and hate, but you wanna hit it good, wanna hit it like I'm pretty fade. Ooh, it's a little sad, it's gotta be this way. That you're bitter with the mirror, so you come for me. Looky at my face, but you wanna taste. Got a lot to say, but you can't look away, babe. Sucky, hey, make you wanna play. Yeah, you wanna hit it good, wanna hit it like I'm pretty fade. Like you, or you don't, I'm gonna get money, make it on the internet. You can call it fake, you can go and hate, but you wanna hit it good, wanna hit it like I'm pretty fade. Help me put my money in a big bag, you gon' get me paid. Help me put my money in the fat stack, you gon' get me paid.
Welcome back to this channel, everyone. It's Frozen Internet Psychic Medium, a spiritual advisor, Mystic Rain. How you guys doing? Hello? Come in, sit down, have a seat. I've got a lot on the mind today. How you doing? Hello, good evening. This time I peeped the notification and I didn't miss. Good. Come on in. Let me know how everything's going. Let me know how the feed is. Let me know if you can hear me, how the sound is doing. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know how you guys doing. Come have a seat. I've got things to say. I actually today, I've got quite a number of shit talking to do today, actually. And blame it on channeling. I'm not really sure, but a lot of things have actually come through. And we really need to discuss it because there's a whole lot of energy that's coming in that I'm not really, the biggest fan of. Come in. How are you guys doing? Did you guys have a good weekend, though? I had a good weekend. Did I have a good weekend? I had a good weekend. I didn't get into any scuffles. I did exactly what I said I was going to do, which was nothing. I said I was going to do nothing, and I said I was not going to leave the house because I've been a little bit spicy recently. And so I didn't do that. What I did do this weekend, I enjoyed my rent. I did. I enjoyed my rent. I enjoyed the tree that I put up, and I enjoyed mood and vibes. And I did not leave at all this weekend. And I watched a lot of Netflix. I watched a really cool K-drama called The Trunk, which was a little spicy, by the way. So if you're into spicy, the first episode is really all you need. You don't need to, if you're not feeling the vibe of the show, But you want to know where the good part of the show was? The first episode was spicy. It was spicy. And then I would say, click off after the first episode. It was quite nice. It was quite nice. So that's what I did. I also did some cooking. I found some recipes. I made some stuffed shells on Sunday. On Saturday, I made a chicken pot pie. I said I was gonna do like some winter thing. Hi, how are you? Hi, I can't. Croca de la Retha. Okay, Croca de la Retha. Hi. Yeah, so I made a pot pie. I've been watching nature documentaries lately. Saw one about the deep sea creatures. See, I love it. I love nature, everything. I love the sea and figure out. I don't want to go in it, but I love to know what's in it. You know what I mean? I don't want to go. Like I love a pool, right? I love to doggy paddle. I like to wade. I love the beach. I love a coast, but I don't like the open water. I'm not going to go too far out. I'm not going to go so far out that a current can take me away. And once it gets too blue, I don't like it. Like there's something about knowing that the floor, that the sea, that the ground just just drops off that I really am not a fan of. But I also like nature, like lions in the wild kind of stuff too. So, but that's what I did. And I made a pot pie, and the pot pie was good. It was my first pot pie that I had ever made. I had a weird craving for a pot pie. I think I just saw too many TikToks. But that's what I did this weekend. And it was nice. I needed it. I have been allowing myself to like slow down because the way my January 2025 schedule is starting to look, woo, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous. And it's really at that point where like I'm looking at it going, I'm really going to have to pace myself and be like super diligent about like owning my time because oh my god. So right now I'm like in hibernation kind of mode. I'm enjoying your festive nails. Oh my god, thank you so much. So wait a minute, hold on. Now you know what I was trying to do? I was trying to do a sweater situation, but she failed me. I couldn't get it fuzzy. I was trying to make it fuzzy and I had like special like supplies to do that, but then I messed it up and then I messed the coloring up and now it is it's given blob like this finger and this finger, but I decided to embrace it. Been doing more art to ground all the energy. I love that. That is such a good idea. Keep missing your lives. It's 2:51 on this side. Love your videos. 2:51, 2:50. Where is this side? Where are you at? Good evening, Kelly. Good evening. Hi, guys. Hi. So yeah, I've been doing good. I'm rested. Now, this weekend I got a lot on the agenda. I've got functions. I have been invited to events that I must go to. So we'll see how long this zenned out version of me lasts. When I'm finished, we'll see if I feel like I get dragged through the weekend. But I've got high hopes. I'm not at the textured nails level yet. Maybe one day. You know what? I'm at it when I cheat with like certain things, but I was trying not to cheat. You know what I mean? What I should have did was just get a sweater sticker that was already embossed and then like encapsulated the baby and then called it a day. But to this, I was like, no, I'm going to be creative. And then it just failed. But, it's fine. South Africa? Well, welcome. So glad to have you. Wow. You guys. Okay, so listen, I've got a whole lot of stuff. I wasn't even like, I got so much stuff that I was like, if I don't start with the stuff, we're just going to be here all day. So I'm just going to get into the stuff because it was so many messages that came through. And so I'm just going to get into it. Oh, actually, really quick before I get into it, Fool's Guide to Tarot. If you love it, order it. It's available now. It's out now. US and Canada. End of this month, it'll be out in the UK. Maybe Australia. I got to go back and I got to go check. Yeah, but it's out. And if it's not specifically out, you can still order it from other suppliers. And so you can still get it wherever you are. And if you have it and you love it, please leave a review on Amazon. I know it's the holidays, so we're slow to get to it. If you don't want to write a full paragraph, that's fine. You can just select a star, okay? please leave a review on Amazon. It would really, 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 really help me out. Okay, so messages. So where does this come from? Some of them I channeled a while ago, but there are two that like came through today, and they came through pretty strong. And so the reason why they came through today was I'm in like an author group that like teaches you how to be an author. I've accepted a role, my role, I guess, in society. And part of that group is like helping each other, right? Like giving advice to each other and pointing people in certain directions. Because it's not like a job that you get and there's on the job training. You know what I mean? It's not one of those kind of things where like there's like a training program and then you have a boss and then the boss teaches you how to do this job. Like that's just not how it works. Everything, you're just figuring it out by yourself. And so anyway, in this particular group, we were just talking and we were asking each other questions, and some things came out of the group that I thought would be really, really helpful in this space. Because I think there are a lot of you that are doing similar things, not necessarily writing, but creating or in the process of thinking about creating something, even if you haven't necessarily started yet. And either you've hit certain roadblocks, or maybe you've considered what it would be like if you hit this word block, like this roadblock, and then what you would then do about it. And so I had wanted to share some of that. And and I'm not going to say anyone's name, and I really hope that they're okay with me doing it, but I'm just going to do it because I really do genuinely think it's going to be helpful. So one thing that came out that it was about like social media. Okay, I'm going to give you, well, I think I probably already give you things that are probably a little bit non-traditional, but I'm going to be like super non-traditional when it comes to the view of social media. So one thing that a lot of people experience is that social media is just not growing in the pace that you want it to grow in, and whatever it is that you do. I'm someone that has dealt with that, is dealing with that, and whatever. And I've had my own journey with that kind of experience. But because of that journey, I have had a lot of realizations along the way. And in this particular conversation, we were talking about how you want to do something. Maybe you have an impact or a message that you want to have. You have a message that you want to share, or an impact that you actually want to have. And then so you're trying to get it out through social media, and it's just not working, right? People are not paying attention. People are not paying attention to the post. The post isn't hitting the algorithm. It's not going viral. But then you're scrolling and you're looking at someone who maybe said something similar to what it is that you said, or maybe you feel like that person just isn't hitting it at all. Maybe they're just like not that good or not that inspirational, whatever it is that you feel is happening. And you look at them and you're like, I don't get this. Like, I don't like, how does this correlate? Oh God, I have all this soot on my hands from the Palo Santo. That's okay. But you look at this and you're like, how does this correlate? Right? Like how is this person seemingly reaching this level of success? And I'm over here with this impact that I'm trying to make, with this message that I'm trying to share, and like it's just like not getting out there, right? And I don't understand like what I'm doing wrong. And then it ends in this sort of cycle where you feel like you're doing everything wrong. You feel like you don't have an impact, that you're not bringing anything of value, and then you walk away from the situation feeling discouraged. Maybe you walk away quitting like entirely, right? And you're just like, maybe this isn't for me, right? Maybe people don't like me. It's like this whole sort of loop that people get themselves into. And so that's what we were talking about in this group. And this one person in the group, they were sharing that journey that a lot of people can actually identify with. And they were like, I feel so discouraged, like I don't want to do it anymore. And then I was like, wait. Because that's one thing I don't like to hear, right? And I was like, no, we're gonna like figure this out, right? And like what I would like to offer is that I do think that like, okay, social media has an impact, but I don't think that that the impact of social media is as big as people think that it is, right? And just follow the bouncing ball here for a little bit, right? I think that some people have different goals, dreams, and ambitions, and they have different missions, right? If you are moving and your mission is to make an impact, to like share this message, to like affect humanity in some kind of way, all of your manifestation energy is going towards the unfolding of that particular mission. If your mission is to simply make it big on social media, that's the mission, then all of your manifestation energy is going towards that. And you're probably growing a lot faster, right? This, I think, is probably why you see people who like, you're like, where's what are they actually doing? But they're really, really big, right? And what I want to offer to that is, one, there's nothing wrong with that. And the reason for that is because, like, for some people, social media is just a hobby and they like to do their hobby while showing people their other hobbies. For some people, that's like cooking. Cooking's a hobby, social media is a hobby, and they just like doing their hobbies together and they're in alignment, and then so it grows, right? Maybe that was all they actually wanted to do, and so it grows. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I come from MySpace, right? I used to code my social media profile, right? I come from an era where social media was just fun. Social media wasn't anything business related, advertising related. It was just something that was fun to do. And there are many people who, for social media, it's just something that's fun for them to do. And when you're having fun, you're in alignment and things grow and pick up faster. But if you are someone and your mission is somewhere over here where you're trying to affect humanity in some kind of way, your energy is going towards the impact of humanity in some kind of way. It is not going towards the growth of social media. And you shouldn't value yourself or your impact based off of like social media numbers. It could help in sense of leveraging, but it's not an accurate depiction of your impact in the world, right? Now, I've got an example for this, right? And I'm going to be vulnerable with you. So, you know what I mean? We're friends, right? I'm going to be vulnerable with you. I need you to be supportive of me in this situation because it's still a little bit raw, all right? Someone not too long ago was like, oh God, I can't believe I'm saying this. They were like, they looked at my social media profile and they were like, so why are you not an influencer? And I was like, hey now, wait a minute. Like this, like, wait a minute. Like that was rude, right? And then I was like, what do you mean by that? Like, tell me what you mean by that. And they were like, well, look at these accounts of these people seemingly doing things that are similar to what it is that you're doing. And look how big they are. And like, look at your account and like, what's happening? Like, what's going on here? And I was like, all right, I see where you're coming from. And then they were like, so why are these people influencers and you're not? And then I was like, hold on. And I was like, one of them are signed. And it's me. Like, you can go to Barnes and Noble and you can pick me up off of the shelf. So where is the influence really? Where is the impact really, right? Also, you have to consider that some people with big accounts may not want an impact. They may really be there because they just love it. They just enjoy social media. They enjoy connecting with people. It's fun for them and they just love it. And so what happens is that people would then take their worth and their success and then they will weave it into what they think a like and a comment and a share actually mean, which at the end of the day means nothing. It means nothing. You may post something that you think is so important because you think it has an ability to really change and influence someone's life and get upset because like one person saw it. And then you're like, only one person saw it. But if that one person had an aha moment and they're like, whoa, I can actually start living my life a little bit differently right now because of this post. And you impacted that person. You actually have the impact that you wanted to have on that person. And because of that, that person then went and shared what they learned with someone else, which then impacted that other person's life. You cannot say that you were not successful in fulfilling your mission. What has happened was you looked at a one like, and then you considered yourself a failure, not even considering what meant for somebody else. Many people go through social media all day, scrolling, even laughing at things, getting genuine entertainment from things, and they scroll past it and still didn't like it. And it has nothing, and no one, when that happens, thinks to themselves, well, I'm not going to give it a like. They're just going about their business. They're just going about their day. They're just scrolling and it's happening and it's moving fast. And they looked at it and they got some enjoyment out of it. They laughed and they kept going. But then you're taking it and you're equating it with self-value and worth. And it doesn't correlate. Like, likes does not correlate to impact, to what kind of like mission you have fulfilled. And it also doesn't necessarily correlate to influence either. It just correlates to likes. That's it. But if you're someone who has a larger mission and you feel like you have a larger mission and you feel like you're here to be like affecting change and like changing lives and stuff, like the like isn't what's changing a life. It's the message. And that may happen in many different kind of ways, right? Like, for example, with me, ever since I was young, I used to always write things down. I was always writing things down. And I even remember at one point in time, my husband asked me, why are you always writing things down? And I always said to him, because I feel like writing is the only way to make sure that my spirit remains after I'm gone, because writing will survive me. And it's a personal like opinion where I just feel like writing anything, even if you're writing in a journal or something like that, will last beyond social media. You can have like an apocalypse and a journal can get buried, and then thousands of years from now, when they're digging things out and they find it, now you got an artifact and they're sitting here trying to decode language, right? Like, it's the only thing that has an ability to outlive me. And so ever since I was a kid, I was always been like writing, trying to leave pieces of me behind and like leave clues and things behind, right? And for me, like, that is like the ultimate way to like leave a lasting impact, because your words will always exist somewhere. It'll always be found at somebody's estate sale somewhere at some point in time. It'll pop up somewhere, right? Like, if I sat here and then I allowed numbers to dictate that, I wouldn't make it very far, right? But it doesn't like, but the two things don't go together. They just don't go together. So that was one like really like important message. So if you're in that space and you're feeling like discouraged, if you came in and you're like, I have this, like this, how did I just lose the word? Like this mission, like I have a mission, and the mission is to have some kind of impact. Trust me when I tell you, the spirit of that mission is not concerned with likes on TikTok, and it is not concerned with the amount of followers you have. The spirit of that mission is concerned with being fulfilled. Because one thing that you guys probably don't know is that all creations have its own spirit. Did you know that? If you paint something, it has a spirit. If you do pottery and you create something, it has a spirit. Anytime something gets created, it's a different form of incarnation, right? It has a spirit. It wanted to be born. It wanted to come into form, right? It was a partner with you and it comes into form. It's the mission itself, whatever that mission is going to be occupied with fulfilling the mission itself. It's not going to be occupied with the fuck is going on YouTube. Okay? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Like, it doesn't care. It's like, it just doesn't care. Besides the target audience too, also some features aren't available until you pass certain thresholds, like 1K followers, to go on live. Yeah, that's true too. But then I'll say to people that are trying to go live, do you know what you're trying to say? Do you know what the message is? Are you one of those people that do have a message that you actually want to share and you want to go live? Have you figured it out? Have you crafted it? Do you know how to say it? Do you know how to articulate it? Because a lot of these people that get to where they're going, they don't actually have messages, which is why it's really easy for them. That's the mission is to have fun, right? And so the energy is working itself out in a way to create the avenue for fun. But when you're in there and you're so serious about it, that's not what the mission is actually trying to do. It may be trying to fulfill itself in a different kind of way. And so what happens is that we get so preoccupied with the form something takes, and we're not looking at how, like, what the overall mission is. Like, even when it comes to like tarot, I'm not the biggest tarot video series at all on YouTube, but I'm the one with the book. So, and that's just probably because the mission was different. Because I said from the beginning, right? I posted those videos on purpose to democratize the learning of it. It had its own mission. It had its own spirit. It was to get the information out in a way where it wasn't covered up in all these paywalls. It didn't have an initial social media mission. It was to disseminate information. And what is a really good way to disseminate information in a way where it's really hard to kill it? By putting it in a book. And that's how it all and that's the form it wanted to take, right? But even if you go look at those numbers, those numbers are nowhere near some of the numbers of people who made like tarot teaching videos, but they don't have books, right? So it's about what the mission wanted to be and how it wanted to take shape and how it wanted to form itself and how it wanted to materialize into the world. So anyway, that was one thing that came through. Another message that I had was, okay, someone in the same group, again, not gonna say who they are, but they were sharing their journey and their story, and then they were talking about their goals and the dreams that they had. And I love to talk about a goal and I love to talk about a dream, right? So I'm all ears. I'm like, oh yeah, what is it? Tell me what you got, And they were like, yeah, but as soon, essentially, as I overcome this other thing, then I'll start, right? I must overcome this other thing first, and then I'll start. So it was really interesting to observe because they talked about their goals and their dreams, and they were lit up. Like their aura was just so lit up. You can tell that they were so serious about it, and it was actually something that was so important to them. And then they went, but I have this other circumstance, so I'm gonna like kind of put it on hold and just sort of like wait it out a little bit. And then they said this. They said, because right now I'm at the mercy of life. And when I tell you, it took everything in me to choke down Mystic Rain, because one thing I can't, like when I hear things like that, when people feel like they're at the mercy of life, I'm like, that is so untrue. Like if you want to summon a bitch, like go look in the mirror and say that you're at the mercy of life. Rub a lamp and see my ass come out of it, right? Like don't say you're at the mercy of life in my earshot. Because when I tell you it's so untrue, like you're not at the mercy of life. And I feel like there may be people in this group that also identify with this, especially because of the time of year that we're actually in, where this time of year can actually feel really disempowering for people. You're not at the mercy of life, right? Life is at the mercy of you because you're the one that creates the life. Now, it's okay if you've forgotten that. It's okay if you don't understand the mechanism of how to regain control, but it's not okay to then accept the narrative that you are then at the mercy of life, because all that does is disempower you. It is not helpful. It is not useful. It's not gonna get you closer from anything except your deathbed. The only thing about saying you're at the mercy of life, the only thing it will do is kill you early. That's it. It'll put you in an early grave. That's it. And if you live long, you will struggle throughout life. You are not at the mercy of life. Life is at the mercy of you. And this is what I got to say to you about that. I'm not going to hold your hand when I say that. I need some of you to learn how to hit back. I need some of you to learn how to fight. Like, I need some of you to learn how to get the fuck up when you felt like you've been knocked down. Okay? I need something, and here's the thing. I'm not going to even ask that you get up and brush yourself off. Maybe you don't want to, but I'm going to require that you stand back up and throw a fucking punch. Like, this whole disempowered, I can't do anything, I don't have an ability to make a different choice is ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely asinine. And if you keep saying that, you will keep living a disempowered life. You are never at the mercy of life. Life will always be at the mercy of you because it's your projection. If anything, you are at the mercy of the bullshit thoughts you have an ability to create for yourself and the bullshit stories you have an ability to tell yourself. Like, hit a bitch back. If you feel like you've been beaten up by life, hit a bitch back. Hit them back. Like, none of y'all learn how to fight. Like, none of y'all have fucking siblings. Like, come on. Like, you can't really. Like, really? You really just like rolled over and played dead? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I honestly, I can't get down with that. Like, I literally can't get down with that because that's actually crazy. That's actually, and people are going to be like, Mystic Rain, you don't understand. Life is hard. No, I get that shit. I get why life is hard. So fucking toughen up and learn how to hit back. When you are met with an outcome or a circumstance that you don't like, learn how to fucking hit it back. Learn how to question it. Learn how to challenge it. Learn how to fucking say no. Learn how to say, this shit does not work for me, but let me tell you what will. Learn how to present alternative options. Learn how to fucking walk away. Because you're not at the mercy of anything that you don't give your power to. So take it back. Take it back. Mystic Rain, you're not being Mystic Rain. Come on, I thought you were an empath. You're not being sensitive enough right now. I'm not trying to fucking be sensitive. Hit it back. Fight, damn it. Fight back. Stop playing dead. Stop rolling over and showing your stomach. No. Like, you're the fucking creator. You're at the mercy of the shit you create. What kind of fucked up set of rule book did you write for yourself? What sense does that make? I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not gonna be at the mercy of the shit that I fucking created. That sounds hard. And think about that. I don't fucking like hard. That sounds really fucking difficult. And that's not some shit that I actually want to do. Okay? Like, hit back. Learn how to fight back. Well, I'm sick of fighting. I'm tired of fighting. You're tired of fighting because you suck at fucking fighting. It's not efficient. Even boxers have strategies. Plot your moves. Stick to the fucking plan. You guys know that song. You know what you guys should probably go listen to. You know Big Sean, he has a song called Stick with the Plan. It's called Stick with the Plan. You guys should probably listen to that song. Do you know that song? How does it go? Literally, it's like, stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. I swear to God, that's what it sounds like. Bitch, quit plan. Stick to the plan. Stay focused. I swear to God, that's what it sounds like. What is it? Like, what is it? Distance yourself from negative energy. You in my way, bitch. It's no sympathy. Been plotting this since elementary. Like, stick to the fucking plan, bro. All of this, oh, life is so hard. Fucking hit it back. Hit it back. Be a fucking force in the world. Be a fucking force to be reckoned with. Because you are a force. You are literally the force. You're the force. This is why I have no patience for this. Remember what you are. You are the force. Stop acting like you don't have a say in this. All of this shit is your say. And at any point in time, you have the ability to be like, reset. I'm going to reset the pieces on this board because this shit sucks. At any point in time in life, you can stop and redo. And here's the thing that you probably don't want to accept is that redoing means getting rid of people, getting rid of fucking jobs, walking away from fucking people and relationships, like moving houses and fucking apartments. Redoing means change, and a lot of you don't want to change, and so you won't redo. And instead of acknowledging what it really is, which is that you're afraid of change, you then say dumb shit like, I'm at the mercy of life. Whatever life has in store for me. And then you start living fatalist. And here's the thing. There's a difference between fate and destiny. Fate happens to you. Destiny is decided by you. And that's why people go, well, it's up to fate. Why the fuck would you leave it up to fate? Why would you do that? That's a dumbass fucking idea. Don't do that. Don't leave it up to fate. Write the shit yourself. Choose what the fuck it's going to be yourself. Write it yourself. People say it's written in the stars. Who the fuck do you think wrote it? You wrote it. You're the force, remember? You wrote it. And here's the thing. You're writing it as we speak. And you have an ability to rewrite and erase and to change. You have an ability to end a fucking chapter right here, right now. This does not work for me. It stops here now. And we're going into 2025. This is the perfect opportunity for you to do it. For you to be like, nope, reset. This isn't working. I don't like this. And then acknowledge it for what it is. Not being at the mercy of life, but acknowledge the fact that maybe you don't have the answer. Maybe you just don't know what to do. It's not that you're at the mercy. Maybe right now you don't have the answer. That's different. Okay? Maybe you have an answer, but you don't know how to execute. That's okay, but that's different. That's not the same thing as being at the mercy of something. You just don't know how to execute right now, and that's different. Maybe You are feeling uncomfortable because you feel like you're in the midst of change. That does not mean you're at the mercy of life. That means you're just fucking changing, and identify it for what it really is instead of being so unbelievably dramatic and life. No. Identify it for what it is and keep it fucking moving. Okay? All right? All right. Because here's the other thing, and this actually gets me into the last message. It was what a good segue. Is that so much of what has happened in your life that you're using as life circumstance and you're using as an excuse to justify where you feel like you are in life and where you feel you will ever be in life, right? Like, oh gosh, I feel like my nose is running. That happens when I start yelling at people. Like, so much of like what's gone on in your life, you're using it as a reason to keep you where you are, right? Poverty. This is a good one. People love poverty. What, Mr. Grain? What do you mean? People fucking love it. Why do people love poverty? Because some people like to be poor. What? Oh my God. What, Mr. Grain? What are you talking about? People like to not be accountable for their circumstances in life. It's easier for people to say, this is my circumstance because of my family, because of the government, because of my job, because of where I grew up, because of how I grew up. It's easier to say that than it is to take accountability and say, I'm changing it. It's easier to say that than to take things into your own hands, because when you do it for the first time, you don't know if you're going to get it right. And so people will use the fact that they were poor at one point of time in life, and then use that to justify their current financial situation. Well, this is how it's always been. This is what my family is like. This is what's meant for me. This is my fate. Or they use it as an excuse as to why they must be poor again one day. So sometimes you're poor, maybe you come out of a poverty cycle, maybe you do well for yourself, and then you use that to be scared all the time that one day you're going to be poor again, right? And so instead of now enjoying your newfound prosperity, you're sitting there concerned that one day you're going to lose your prosperity. People do this in love. You find someone. Maybe you were a kid back in junior high, middle school, high school, right? Maybe you were like a new adult. You found someone, you fell in love, right? They broke your heart because that's what the fuck you do when you're a child, okay? And then, and men do this a lot, and I'm gonna fucking call you out for this shit. Men love to hang on to shit that happened to them when they were fucking 14 and some 14-year-old girlfriend that they fucking had, okay? And then you use it as a reason as to why you'll never find love again and no one will ever love you, right? Or fuck, maybe you even have 3 or 4 failed relationships, and then you use it as a reason to justify why the other 8 billion people in the world could never ever love you ever, possibly, right? Feel what I'm saying? Right? And then you will then cycle yourself into a pattern of believing you're not lovable and that it will never occur for you. Or even better, you'll find someone, end up in a relationship, they love you, you love them, it's going great, it's healthy, you wig out and crash the fuck out, sabotage the whole goddamn thing, now you're alone by yourself again. And then you use that as a reason as to why no one will ever love you and you will never have a satisfying relationship or a successful relationship. And then you say to the world, see? This is why I failed. Because it's destined, right? Because it's my fate. Because this is the pattern. It's always happened to me in life, right? Maybe you had a business. Maybe you didn't do as well as you wanted it to do. And then so you use that as a reason as to why you can never be a successful business person, instead of accepting the fact that maybe that wasn't the shit that was supposed to make you rich in the first place. And you use all of these previous experiences that you have as the reason to why your life currently looks the way it is, and why you can never, ever get something more for yourself, and why it's so hard to manifest big things. Well, yeah, because you're fucking trying to manifest a goddamn peanut. But you've been to a Chinese buffet, you can fuck it up at a buffet, but it never occurred to you to try to manifest a fucking buffet. You're still trying to manifest a peanut, and then you're wondering why you're not getting anything more because you're manifesting a fucking peanut. And don't peanuts grow in bunches anyway? Like, why didn't you fucking try to manifest a bunch? You feel what I'm trying to say here? Without realizing that those adverse experiences do serve a purpose. It's not happening to you because God hates you. It's not happening to you because this is like preordained and that this is supposed to be the setup for your life. It serves a purpose. Why? Because nothing is redundant. What is the purpose of these adverse experiences? The purpose of the adverse experience is that the adverse experience is the other. What is the other? The other is what must occur for you to understand what is. If you come from poverty and then you figure out a way to become prosperous, you would never understand the meaning of prosperity if you did not experience the other, because you would have nothing to compare it to. If you started off prosperous, you may even think that you were poor because you never experienced the other. The other is the full experience itself. The other is the second part of the prosperity experience. Prosperity is not just prosperity. Prosperity is understanding what it means. And to understand what it means requires that you experience and see the other. The same thing with love. How would you ever know what it means to truly love an individual or to be loved by an individual if you did not experience the other? If you did not see the other? If you did not observe the other, watching other people go through it? You would have absolutely no idea what it meant to experience a loving relationship because you never experienced the other. Success. People go, I failed. I'm afraid of failing again. You didn't fail again because you're destined to be a failure. You had to experience the other so you understand what it means to succeed. The fact that you've experienced an adverse experience means that you've experienced the other. That means you did 50% of the journey already. 50%. You're halfway there. You're more than halfway there. What you now have to do is gain the experience, gain the awareness that what's happening is the other, so you can pass through it faster. But if you sit there being like, oh my God, God hates me. The universe hates me. No one is listening to my prayers. No one's answering my prayers. You're just going to fucking sit there in the energy. If you want to pass through the energy, you have to have awareness of the fact that the energy is the other so you can experience it. You want all of these things, but you have no way of understanding what any of these things mean because you haven't experienced the other of it. This is why when you see people, you feel like they're born with a silver spoon in their mouth and you're like, they're so privileged. And then they complain a lot and you're like, they should be so grateful. It's because they didn't experience the other. And by the way, the other can happen in the other way. The other is you could start rich and then end poor. And then that is a part of the journey. So I would say if you feel like you're starting with an adverse experience, you should probably be a little bit grateful for that. But here's the thing. If you start on the other side, and then you end in the adverse experience, now you understand other. And so now you have an ability to pick which side of the spectrum you would actually like to exist on. Because now you understand the spectrum as a whole. And then you can pick which one you feel is best in alignment for where it is that you would actually like to be. It's not because you're this terrible person, that you're like this unlovable person, or that you're not supposed to be successful. Success is in your birthright. That's a guarantee. That was always a guarantee. The journey is you understanding the other so you even have an ability to identify success when it happens to you in the first place. But without the other, you don't have an ability to identify it. You can be sitting in success and have absolutely no idea that you're sitting in success. This is why you ever notice that like these like big rich people or like these top business people, and when they do interviews and people go, tell us about your story, and then they recount their story is always like some bullshit like, we lived in a tent in Montana. We had no running water and our baby wore half a shoe. It's like some crazy ass becoming story of like them literally having absolutely nothing. And then suddenly they become like this big, successful, well-to-do, all these resources, fame, money, and people are like, what? It's because they had to go through the other. What is business success if you have nothing to compare it to? What is business success if you haven't yet learned the pitfalls and the mistakes that you can possibly make to fuck it up? What is success without that? You can get all of this success, make one wrong move, and then lose everything. And it would have been a move that you could have avoided if you just understood the other. You'll have a season of other, and then you say, fuck you to the rest of life. And then you feel like life is saying, fuck you too. And then you're mad at life. You're mad at God. You're mad at your mother because you feel like, fuck you for bringing me into this fucked up life. No. Take accountability. You said, fuck you first. You said, fuck you to life first. And so life went, okay. We were trying to get her to the other side. But she quit. She gave up. What do we do? Instead of being like, okay, this is an adverse experience, so I can then understand the experience. So I can then understand what it actually means. So I can understand the journey of it. So I can understand how to love it, how to appreciate it, how to have gratitude for it, how to keep it, how to keep my hands on it, how to honor it. But no, you have convinced yourself that God hates you and that the world hates you and that no one loves you. What a terrible fucking way to live, in my honest opinion. The other is important. It's important for the whole story. Not to mention the fact nobody wants to read a book of someone that just fucking made it. That's fucking boring. Those are not bestsellers. You want to write a memoir? And the memoir is going to be, I woke up and everything was great, the end. Who wants to read that book? Who wants that story? There's nothing about it that's entertaining. Like, there's nothing about that story that someone else can learn from. There's nothing about it that can be gained. Nothing about that that's useful. But the story that, like, you start from one end and you go to the other, people will read that shit. They'll eat it up. Oh my God, what happened next? What happened next? What happened next? What happened next? Because on a spiritual level, we understand the importance of the other. On a spiritual level, we actually get off to the fact that somebody was in the other and then they figured out how to make it to the other side of the spectrum. On a spiritual level, we actually understand the importance of that process. You know, another way you know that we understand the importance of that process, when it comes to like big people, you ever notice that the ones that have the most respect are the ones that people feel like they work to get to where they are? That the big people that exist, the ones that people feel like, oh, your parents gave you an extraordinary amount of money to start your business. You ever realize people have less respect for that? Because they have less respect for the journey, because on a spiritual level, there's an understanding that that person didn't experience the other. And so what do they know about the journey, about the spiritual journey? The whole damn thing is a journey. You're going from one point to the next point. Okay? You're not doomed. Okay? Yes, it's possible. Okay? Yes, it's possible that the thing you want in life, which you feel like looks completely opposite to what your life is like now, yeah, it's possible for that to happen because the other is necessary, because the other is part of the mechanism. It's the other. It serves a purpose. No one hates you. No one forgot about you. God didn't place a curse on the family lineage. What happened was you had some people that made some fucked up decisions, and so maybe they stayed in the other a little bit longer than they actually wanted to be there, okay? Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Can I get a collective head nod from where you are on the couch? Like a yes, I understand. And can you commit to yourself for the sake of yourself that if you are in a place in life where you don't want to be there, that 2025 will be the year that you will start making different choices. Can you make that promise to yourself? Because that is the only way to get you out of the other. That's it. You want out of the other, you make new choices. How do you do that? By simply saying and coming to the awareness of that this is just the other, so I can understand what I want actually feels like. Because when you're in the other, what you want is always the direct opposite. If you can flip the shit on its head, what you want when you are in the other is always the direct opposite of what you are actually experiencing. It's the same coin, but the other side of it. So flip the fucking coin over. Be like, thank you. I now have the awareness. That way you can move through the other faster. Because the other is still necessary. You're not going to stop the other, but you're gonna glide through it. It'll speed up. And the reason why it'll speed up is because it's not needed anymore. People come out of the other when there stopped being a need for the other. Right? Like people stop being broke when they say, fuck this shit. The moment someone says, fuck this. Like I don't want to order off the dollar menu from fucking McDonald's. And that's when it was a true dollar menu, right? Like the moment someone says that is the moment like it starts to shift. But what happens is that people will be in the other and they don't say that. They don't claim that. They don't proclaim it. They just are upset, understandably, but they're upset that they're in the other in the first place. And so they spend the majority of their energy like wallowing. And so the energy doesn't become active. It's not activated. It's just a lot of wallowing. It's a lot of self-pity. It's a lot of sadness. Sometimes it can turn into to depression and you're just wallowing in it, right? And so, but it's the moment when someone says, fuck it. It's the moment they start to move through the process. It's the moment that process starts to lift. It's the moment, and you know what we call it? We call it letting go. People say it. People go, you know what's really interesting? The moment I just let it go, is the moment this thing came in, or this thing came to me, or I got this opportunity, or blah, 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 blah. The moment I let it go, the fuck it moment. The moment when they went, all right. Some people call it surrendering, right? We've got all kind of words that we use for it. But once you become, when you accept it, when you gain an awareness that you're in the other and you're like, okay, it serves a purpose. Let's quickly figure out what this purpose is in this particular moment. Okay, that's the purpose. Okay, great. Got it. Thank you. Thank you, not for the lesson, but for the experience, because we'll take it and then go, oh, it's the lesson. I got to learn a hard lesson. The universe is testing me. The universe doesn't test. It just gives you opportunities to exercise skills, usually dormant skills, right? It gives you like opportunities to exercise a muscle that you haven't actually been using, but we call it testing, whatever, right? But the moment you get that, it'll glide through because it's not needed. Remember, nothing is redundant. It's not needed anymore. It's not required anymore. You got what you came, you saw it, you came, what is it? You came, you saw it, you saw it, you came, you saw it. Where the fuck this shit that's called? I don't know. Vini, Vidi, Vici, whatever, right? You came, you saw, you conquered. Okay, it's done now. There's no point in you sitting in it longer than you actually need to be there for. Like, come, guys, get it to fucking together. I'm not taking you into 2025 with me like this. I'm sorry, but I don't have sorry friends. Okay, we're gonna have to get it. We got, what is it, 2 weeks? We got 2.5 weeks to get this fucking show on the road. And I'm gonna need you to remember that you're a lot stronger than what you've been saying that you are. You know what you are? You're a fucking cockroach. Hear me out. Follow the bouncing ball. I remember one time, back when my husband was a fiance, he was going through a hard time. And I said, you know what, honey? You know what? You're a roach. And I'm going to tell you something. It's a really offensive thing to say to a Korean man. And he was like, what? And I was like, no. And I was like, you're a roach. Matter of fact, you're a cockroach. No, you're a German cockroach. And he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And because I always said, like, to myself, I always have this, I've carried it for a really long time. I always say that I'm like a roach. I'm like a cockroach, which is like a super like gross. You're like, people go, I would prefer to be like a lion or something like that. And I'm like, no, like I'm a roach. Why am I a roach? Because you're going to have to step on me a few times before you take this bitch out. I'm going to give you a fight and I'm going to scare the fuck out of you in the process. But you're not going to just fucking take me out and think I'm going to roll over and say win. That's not going to fucking happen. Okay? And so I said that to my fiance at the time. I was like, you're a roach. And he was like, why am I a roach? And then at one point he was like, I don't think I'm strong enough to be a roach. Like, that sounds really intense. And I was like, sorry, but you're about to marry a roach, so that makes you roach, and then we're just cockroach family, right? And so, like, now we're in a space where, like, if I'm having a hard time, he'll be like, no, honey, you're a fucking roach. Like, you're a cockroach. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, you are. And I'm like, I'm a roach. Like, yeah, I am, right? Like, you're gonna step on me, you're gonna hear me crunch. You think I'm gonna let you do that shit, like, peacefully? You think I'm not gonna give you the fucking heebie-jeebies on my way out? You thought it was gonna be easy. Simple? No. Mm-mm. 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 No. And I'm gonna need you guys to harness a bit of that spirit. I'm gonna need you guys to, like, be like, I'm gonna need you to start playing with life in that kind of way. And let people know if they play with you, that's gonna be the fucking result of it. I'm gonna need you not to just roll over and say when. I have a real significant problem with that. A real significant problem with that. I'm gonna need you not to wallow in your own self-pity and then convince yourself that you're not destined for greatness. I have a real significant problem with that. And the reason why I have a problem with that is because it's just absolutely untrue. Like, you're telling yourself lies. You're feeding yourself false information and then going to bed with it, believing it's true. It's not true. Just call it for what it really is. That maybe today you just don't know how to do it. And that's okay. But the answer isn't going to come to you if you don't admit that you don't have it. Maybe you just don't know right now. You just don't know how. That's okay. But that's different. That's not the same thing of it not being meant for you. That's not the same thing. Because if you can see it, if that shit is in your mind's eye, it's meant for you. It's on a timeline. It exists. Why? Because we can't see shit that doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, you can't see it. If you can see it, if it's sitting somewhere in here, if it's in that mind's eye and you can see that shit, it is vivid, that means it exists somewhere. That means the potential is lined up for you somewhere because you can't see shit that doesn't exist. Mr. Green, but what if I made it up? We made all this shit up. Every single part of it is made the fuck up. So start making more shit up. Learn how to dream again. Learn how to daydream again. Learn how to create, because that is what you do. I'm not creative. That's why I said learn how to do it again. Everyone is creative. You are the creator. It's impossible for you not to be creative. It's absolutely impossible because of the nature of what it is that you actually are. It's okay. Society beat it out of you. You forgot when you were a child. It's okay. But call it what it is. You don't remember how. Not that it doesn't exist. Just call it for what it is. Because if you acknowledge that it's because you just don't remember how, then the memory can start slowly coming back to you. But you got to acknowledge what it really is and not feed yourself these false narratives, because your outer reality will mirror your inner reality. Your outer reality will mirror whatever thought pattern you came up with, whatever belief system you came up with. Life will mirror it back to you and say, okay. And then it'll prove it true for you because you're so stuck on it. You're so stuck on it. And that's why it looks the way it looks. How do you change it? By choosing something different. Choosing something different creates new thought patterns. It rewires the mind. It creates and dismantles. It creates new belief systems and it dismantles old belief systems. And life will mirror back to you your belief systems. It'll just do that. That's what it does. It can't help itself. Why? It's just how it works. It's just like the mechanism. There's like metaphysical mechanism, by the way. Like this, nothing is redundant. You are a metaphysical being. Start moving in a metaphysical way. All right? Stop this pity party. I'm not having it. I'm not letting you bring the shit into 2025. Put the shit down. Put it down. I'm not having it. I'm absolutely not having it. We're not doing this. We're not doing this next year. I'm not playing with y'all. I'm not playing with you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Put it down. Put the pity party down. Put the wallowing down. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to be upset. But it's not okay to carry it with you for the rest of your fucking life. It's okay to leave it right where it happened. It's okay to feel like you've been impacted by it. But it's not okay to allow it to continue to impact you. It is okay that it happened to you. But it's not okay that you allow it to continue to happen to you. At some point in time, you have to pull the plug and you have to make a choice when it stops and when it changes. Or it's not going to stop and it's not going to change because it does not do it by itself. Can I get a collective agreement? Can I get a collective nod? Can I get a head nod? Even if you're on your couch. Okay? Can I get a yes, Mr. Crane? All right? Can I get a I'm going to do better in 2025 because I deserve better. I'm going to get more, allow myself to receive more because I deserve more. I'm going to allow myself to experience more because I want to experience more. I'm going to allow myself to have more because I simply want to have more. Yeah? Collectively? Noelle, what did you miss? I just cussed everybody out. That's what happened. I just yelled at everybody for like an hour. Oh God, let me go up because I know I missed so much of this, guys. I just saw it go. Let me go all the way up. Let's see. Thank you for the reminder. You are welcome. Let me hide real quick and thank the heavens Mystic hasn't heard some of my combos. Not the not the combos. Let them know, you damn Skippy. We're going to do better. And it's okay. You just didn't know. And that's okay. But you know now. So we do better now. We do better when we know, right? To pass it for my own good sometimes and becoming active in a force is the hardest thing that I keep taking steps back on because it's a muscle. It's a muscle that has to be used. It has to be developed. It has to grow, which is why like you'll get like it'll feel like people are bothering you, or it'll feel like these like really challenging situations that are happening and occurring and like man, I just can't get a break, right? Or this person keeps violating my boundaries or something like that. But really it's just like it's just the universe sending you opportunities to like grow the muscle, to use the muscle, to be that thing that you want to be. If you want to feel like you are like more active in a force and that's something that's sitting in your heart, the universe is going to bring you opportunities to become that. And so you're being fronted with the opportunity of becoming is really what it is. Damn, I'm being dragged for filth right now. Well, if the shoe fits, okay? If the shoe fits. Yes, understood. Yes, I understood. Good. Head nod while flossing. Yes, absolutely. Good. I've been hearing the similar message all week, but hearing you say that the way to move through the other is to accept that you have to experience the other to understand what you do want. Yes, you do. Surrender. Well, yeah, yep. Well, damn. Allow myself. Well, damn. Could I be a bed bug? Look, be a fucking bed bug. They are a fucking nuisance. Whatever it is, you better be something that's fucking hard to kill. Okay? Be a whole fucking infestation. Whatever floats your boat. I'm supportive. I think of it as a going away gift. Oh no. Very odd message. Good. Okay, good. Yes, 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 yes. Good. Yes, this is great. I'm going to do better in 2025 because I deserve better. I am really great at receiving more abundance. All you have to do is allow it. It's not even about being good or bad at something. It's just about allowing it to exist. You just have to allow it to exist, and you allow it by kind of like getting out of its way. It sounds so counterintuitive. Like it sounds the way it works is the way it sounds like it would not work. But you first of all, you have it by actually like wanting it. You know what'll help? This may help. This may help. You could try this, and this will take a little bit of time to materialize, but you could try this. Try like when it comes to when you say receiving more, do you have an idea of like what it is that you want to receive? Because first you have to get in the habit of asking for shit. And then eventually you feel comfortable saying, well, now I want all shit. Right? Like for a lot of people, if you're like, what do you want? And you're like, everything. That one word, everything, would make a lot of people feel really uncomfortable, right? Like everything. What do you mean everything? I can't have everything. Everything is too much. I should take just enough for myself. I don't want to be greedy, right? But like before you get to the everything, sometimes you have to kind of work your way up and then like pick something, right? So when you are receiving more of what? More money, more love, more house, more square footage. You want a bigger closet. You want 2 MacBooks, a nicer car. What color seats? Shit like that, right? And what happens is it sounds really frivolous. People say, well, I know I needed a car, but like I just need a car to get me from point A to B. And so what will materialize, what will manifest is a car that gets you from point A to B. But or you can be like, give me the car with all the bullshit in it, right? Some people are like, bullshit? I can't ask for bullshit, but you can. And when you start asking for bullshit, guess what shows up? Bullshit. Bullshit, right? Now, for some people, it may not be so materialistic. They may not care. Maybe like you want more love in the form of like relationships. People are around you. People are surrounded by you. But like you have to start somewhere. You have to get used to asking for it first before you then open it up further and go everything. Because really what the problem is that your field isn't big enough to receive everything. Do I have a piece of paper around here? I want to draw a diagram. I want to do art. I want to show you something. I need a paper. I need a piece of paper. I need... Wait a minute. Somebody help me. I need art. I want to do a project. What is over here? I don't have loose paper. Oh my God. Oh, what if I can use this? I don't need this now. What if I can use something in it? Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm grasping for straw here, but I just need a blank piece of paper. Somebody help me. Oh, I can do this. Can I use this? I'm going to use this. Okay. So I'm going to, where's my pen? I'm going to follow the bouncing ball. Okay. Okay. And I actually just recently did this for somebody else, but I'm going to show you. So I'm going to show you what most people's energy fields look like, okay? Okay, I have another pen. That's not working. Okay. Most people's energy field looks something like this, right? Dense, closed off, kind of blocked off, and then very disorganized, very like erratic, very all over the place. This is the majority of people's energy field. So when you're walking, like that one, like Barbara at work, who when you just walk past her, she just seems like everything is out of control all the fucking time. Like this is what the energy field is actually doing. When you're in a place where you feel like nothing is working and nothing is happening for you, and like you're in like a deep place with your thoughts and you feel like everything sucks and you're telling yourself no one loves you and that you'll never be great, this is what your energy field looks like, right? It's closed off. And this is the majority of people that you will walk in the concert with in your day-to-day life, right? At work and your relationships and your family. This is what it looks like. This is what you're supposed to be doing as a metaphysical being, particularly if you want shit, okay? You should look like this. That big. Now, when people are this big, this is when people are visionaries. You have a vision, you have mad goals, you got dreams, hopes, ambitions. Maybe you're sharing it with a bunch of different people, but like they don't see it, right? Maybe you haven't even acted on it yet, but you have these dreams and these goals that are they're sitting on your heart. That you really like, they're sitting on your heart. They mean a lot to you. You feel like it's meant for you. You just, maybe you're in a space right now where you just don't know where it's supposed to go, right? And you have all these dreams, and when on a good day, right, you're like, yeah, one day I'm going to make that happen. On that good day, this is what you look like. You look like this. On a bad day is when you start doubting yourself, you start thinking that it's not going to ever work out for you, that you can't do it. Your energy field will go from this, and then it'll shrink back down to this. And it'll close itself off. This is what manifestation looks like for most people. For most people, down here, manifestation looks like these little squiggly lines. This is the peanuts. They're trying to manifest peanuts. Some of it's successful, some of it's not. And the reason why it's not is that it's not that it's not trying to come in, it's that the energy field is so closed, it's so tight that it's not open enough for it to land. There's nowhere for it to go, right? Now, the people with vision, with real big goals, real big dreams, and they start acting on it, will look like this. You see how it's starting to like encroach on the other person? But when you have big goals, big dreams, and ambitions, your energy field has to reach it. It's got to be bigger. And you have to go out farther. These lines are called frequency. It has to go out farther. It has to reach that thing that you want. This is also the same reason as to why you start going out for your goals and things start working out for you, because you're nice and open. And so those things have a place to come in and land. Why people over here start to get real pissed off, why they start dropping off, why you feel like you had a best friend and now suddenly they're not your friend anymore, why your family isn't supportive of you anymore. It's because this is very uncomfortable for this, because this energy encroaches on this energy. Because even though people may not be spiritual, what they're sensing from you is this, and they don't understand it. They don't understand why you're so big. They don't understand why it's so uncomfortable. They don't understand why you're so overpowering of them, and why your frequency and your vibe is going so far and it's radiating so strongly in the way that it is, because you are bringing in and attracting things to you, and they're not. They're doing this. You want to be here, operating with the narrative that it's never going to work out and that it can't happen for you and that you're destined to be alone and you're a failure puts you here. It's not going to come to you if you sit here. You like, that's what I'm saying all the time. You have to like make a new choice in order to put you here. That choice, that reclaiming of power and like moving in empowerment by making full embodied decisions, it keeps you here. And it's a frequency thing. Look how far out the frequencies go. And it's attracting it. And all of those frequency lines act like magnets, and it pulls it to you. And it will encroach over other people because it does get bigger than other people. And it's quite literal. And the thing is, people don't know what they're sensing and they don't know what they're feeling. And it makes them uncomfortable because they can't put words on it. And that's why people, when you start succeeding, things happening for you and you're in a good place in your life, people say this thing, oh, so you think you're Mr. Big Shot, or you think you're Mrs. Big Shot, or you think you're bigger than me now. Remember, nothing is redundant. There is a reason for the language that people choose to use. It is quite literally because you are energetically bigger than them. Your field is a lot bigger, it's a lot wider. And when you want great things, your field must be big because it has to accept the things that are coming in and it has to reach the things with frequency. And it's going to be big. Now, what do you do to make your field big? Nothing. The only thing you do is just dream. Allow yourself to have the vision. Allow yourself to continue to envision it. Allow yourself to try different things to see what works and be okay if it doesn't work because that's not the form it wanted to take. Allow yourself to stay in the space of dreaming. That's what keeps it big. Allow yourself to continue to see it. Most people don't see. Most people can't see. They can't. They're closed. They're blocked. Where are we? Where are we? My new moon message was waning moon release, and I was like, what else do I need to release? Well, there you go, I guess. I now have 2 jobs after months and months of unemployment. Oh my God, I'm so fucking happy for you. Affirmations and prayers asking for shit works. More hopeful than I've been in a long while. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. I'm so thrilled for you. And I'm so happy that you're moving into your new season. People being repelled makes so much sense. Yeah, it's energy. That's it. It's just energy. Like sometimes people will say things to me and I'm like, you would say that. And I don't even mean it from a place of like, you would say that. I mean like, yeah, you would say it. You would say that. I get it because of what you're picking up from me, what you're sensing from me, and I get it. But I understand that it's like an energetic thing and you may not have that level of awareness. And so it just may be rubbing you wrong. You know, I get it. It's fine. So we don't want to be small like an egg, trying to get fertilized by sperms. We want large like the sun. Yes, absolutely. You want to be big. And you make the field big by thinking big. Because your thoughts are what makes the field, by the way. Thought forms. You want to be big, you think big. And then if you want to be bigger, you do big. Because also they can't control you when you're open like that. Absolutely. That makes sense. Relationships I used to think were great, like my bestie, now I feel like, oof. Yeah, and then also too with friends, sometimes you just outgrow them and they outgrow you. You know, also sometimes too what happens is that when you're in a season, and let's say things are just like happening for you, sometimes it's not even that people don't like you anymore or that they don't want to be around you anymore. Sometimes when things start happening for you, you become a mirror of what they feel like they're not doing for themselves or what they feel like is not happening for themselves. And so sometimes it just becomes hard to support you. It's not even that the love is gone or that they don't care about you. They just don't know how to support you when they're in that space. And because they don't recognize that it's energetic and that it's a mirror being mirrored back to them, a lot of times they'll just like remove themselves as opposed to trying to figure out how to deal with it within themselves. There's no box they can put you in, so they're uncomfortable too. Absolutely, because you don't fit. Absolutely. And then also you keep growing, by the way. It just keeps growing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the next thing you know, your frequencies look like solar flares and it's flying off of you. It's remarkable when you like, but it's all a mechanism, right? Like a lot of it just works in a certain kind of way. And she acts like I haven't been supportive. Oh, I'm sorry about that. That sucks too. And you're welcome. You're welcome. You're so welcome. Anyway, those were my messages. Does anyone have any questions? I did promise you guys spiritual Q&A time. And you know, if not, I could just take my ass on then. Shit, I did my job for the day, you know? But let me know if you got something or you want me to clarify something. Or even if you have a question about something else. It could be something super unrelated. I don't care. Any questions? No questions. Should I take the silence as no questions? Oh, have you ever seen a fairy? Nope. I don't deal with fairies. I don't actually understand much about them except that they uh require a lot of respect and that they are not ones to be messed with. But because I don't understand them, I have never tried to mess with them, nor do I plan on trying to mess with them. So no, I haven't. This was a great message. Thank you for talking about this. You are more than welcome. You're more than welcome, you guys. Caught between wanting to do a lot of things, writing studies, and wanting a job. Don't know where to focus. Well, maybe don't focus on one. Maybe just do them all. Like maybe the focus is all. Like I've always been someone that like squirrel. Like I do a lot of different things, and I think it plays out. I think people that pay attention to me would probably notice that on the internet, and I'm always trying new ideas and seeing if I work that, and I want to do that, and I may do it for a while or I may not do it for a while, but I think that's what makes it fun for me is that the joy in just being able to create and have experiences. And I a while ago got rid of the expectation that I focused on one thing. I do many things, and I do them at my pace, when I want to, how I want to. And that may mean I touch it at 3 o'clock one night and I don't touch it again for 2 months. But if that's my pace, then it is what it is. And me moving like that, I find a lot of fulfillment in it because I get to act on different things when I'm inspired, as opposed to acting on something that I was once inspired by, but then now I'm doing it out of duty because I started, and but so now it's like not fun for me anymore. Like if I don't enjoy it, then what's the point of doing it? And so when I'm inspired and there's a lot of things I actually want to do, I just do all of them when I feel inspired to do any particular one at any particular moment. And then like I always have a million and one things in the works. Some things make it to the end, some get finished, some make it 75%, and it's finished for me, right? So it may not be finished outwardly, but I feel fully satisfied in the experience that I got to have with interacting with it. And so it's finished for me. And I had to like come to peace with that. That was like my process. And so maybe you just do all. Maybe it's not about doing one after the other, and then having a focus or doing one and not the other. Maybe you just do all. And then you do them until you don't want to do them anymore. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you again. You're so appreciated. Thank you. I have a question. Ask. What's your question? I remember you mentioning the third person Speaker of the House in a previous life. I had a similar dream. I was showering a woman who was learning about the job just in case. That's so interesting. Oh my God. Shadowing a woman. Somebody left a comment the other day reading up on the process, and I don't remember what I said because when I tell you, it was heavily convoluted with a lot of legal jargon. I was so appreciative that they did it, but they essentially went up and looked at the order and what the order would be. And apparently, like if the president elect isn't elected or isn't there, then the VP elect can't be inaugurated. And then there's also a different setup when if the two of them aren't there, then it would default back to the other candidate, which would be Kamala Harris. But I don't know if it's fun. Love the Gemini vibes. I have a similar process, right? Because it's just more fun that way. Like, this shit be so serious. Life is just so goddamn serious. Spirituality is just so goddamn serious. Enlightenment is just so fucking serious. Oh my God. Can we like relax a little bit? You know what I mean? And then even when it comes to like things to do, honestly, sometimes I just want to be a rock, and I'll put that on the to-do list. I swear to God, like I'll have, like my husband will be like, "What are you doing this weekend?" And I'm like, "Nothing. I'm so fucking excited. I'm gonna wash my underwear, and then I'm gonna do fuck all on the couch, and I'd be so fucking excited about it." Have you heard of the Three Psychic Sisters, or YouTube channel? is Trinity Oracle. I've heard of 3 Psychic Sisters. I saw a podcast briefly. It was like a clip. I didn't watch the whole thing, and it was 3 Psychic Sisters, but I didn't go further into that. And so I'm not actually sure if who I saw is also the Trinity Oracle. I'm not sure. I got an idea for a project and started working on it. I ordered the product, then bought all the things needed for the business. I taught myself how to do everything while I waited. No product came. Okay. I reorder and still nothing. What is my block? Sometimes it's not that deep. Sometimes it's a fucking scammer. Sometimes it's a shitty fucking retailer. Like, sometimes it just got lost in the mail. It's almost Christmas. First, before we go into there being like a spiritual issue with you, right? Like, first, rule out life shit. Did it just get lost in the mail? Is it a situation where you just need to request a refund? Was the shit ordered from Alibaba? Do you need to submit a claim? Right? Like, let's start there. Because I don't think it's a block. If you had an idea for a project and you started working on it, and then you even taught yourself what you needed and you were prepping, that's not a block. That sounds like a supply chain issue. Oh my gosh, Gemini, yes, when it's not fun, my brain is gone. Yeah, it's dull. I can't do it. Washing underwear, the day you did it is the day I'm not going anywhere, and no one better call me to. Hello, like that shit is warm. Don't let me pull it out the dryer and it's toasty. In this weather, during this time of year, I'm sitting right here. Actually, I may go out and get me some wings, but I'm coming right back. I shall be a rock. I shall be a rock sometimes and feel no shame about it. Thank you. You're welcome. Does it ever feel overwhelming doing everything? And do you sometimes feel guilty when something is not done? I've been rewriting my book for some years and I feel guilty when not finishing it. I used to be overwhelmed by it. And I'm only, and by used to, I mean at very recently, as of like 2 weeks ago. As of 2 weeks ago. And the reason why 2 weeks ago was like the mile marker was because that was when the book published. And it was in that moment where I realized that all of the worrying, all of the guilt from having previously unfinished projects, the shame, the anxiety about whether or not I was going to get something done on time or get something done at all, something about that experience made me realize that when it's supposed to be done, it'll be done. If it didn't get done, it's not supposed to get done. Or that was just the end of the experience. And I also learned in that, so there's a lot of things that I learned, right? So one, I think part of the reason why we focus so much on getting things done is like societal, capitalistic, post-industrial revolution bullshit. We are trained by the workforce to show up at a certain time, to do a certain job, and to finish that particular job. And if we're not doing it, we're not productive, and we're not making a particular company any money. And we take that ideology and then we apply it to our regular everyday life that is just supposed to be enjoyed and experienced. And we apply the rules from industry into how we are actually conducting our lives. And then we start to feel bad and we start to feel shame when we're not finishing things without the realization that who gives a fuck? Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be finished. If it's supposed to be finished, it'll be finished. Some things are just supposed to be experienced, right? And then I also realized another thing, because it was like all 2 weeks ago when I realized the difference. I had a moment where I was like, I want another book deal. What am I going to do to get it? Okay, maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll submit a couple of ideas and then I'll lie in wait and see if the publisher reaches out back out to me, blah, 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 yada, yada. But it was a real sort of passive maneuver, right? And then I remember talking to Spirit, like, what would I have to do to get another book deal? And then Spirit, I swear to God, this was the answer, Spirit. And it was very like this kind of vibe. Just go get the deal. And I was like, what does that mean? And they were like, just go get it. And I was like, what does that mean? Tell me what it means. And then they were like, just go, like, maybe be more proactive. Just go get it. Like, just go ask. And so I was like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't possibly do that. And then Spirit was like, but you could. Like, you could. And Spirit was actually like, the only reason why the timeline is what it is because you're not doing it. And so I was like, okay. But so then what do I ask for? And the Spirit was like, everything you want. And I was like, okay. And so I put on my big girl panties and was like, and then was like, I would like to, like, in a big girl voice, but in my mind, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. I was thinking about my 2025 and what I would like to do. And I have decided for myself that I would like to prioritize 3 projects and 3 titles. And so I decided that I was going to reach out to see if this is something that you would like to work on with me on, because I already started working with it and I'm going to do it anyway. And they were like, okay, sounds great. Want to meet next week? We can talk about it. Work out a timeline. And I was like, what? And then I realized, because this whole sort of author journey taught me, like, it doesn't function like a 9-to-5 job. It moves when I move it, right? And so part of, like, our stuff and, like, our projects, some of them are just hobbies. Because if we wanted it to be bigger, we would move it. But because we are trained post-industrial revolution, we've applied this idea that everything must be completed. Therefore, if it's not, we're not productive, we're not successful, we didn't finish anything, because we're trained by industry. But the truth of the matter is, if it's supposed to be moved because you want to move it, you'll move it. And if you don't move it because you don't want to move it, then it just was supposed to be experienced. But anything that's supposed to come to full fruition, it will, if you wanted to move it. But maybe you just don't want to move it, and, like, maybe that's just okay. And maybe that's what people always did prior to the way society looks. They just did something to experience it, and then when it was fully experienced, they just stopped doing it. So I used to feel that way, but very recently I stopped feeling that way, because I was like, oh. And so now I have a very new ideology. And from that moment, I was like, this point forward, anything Mystic Rain does happens on Mystic Rain time. Mystic Rain does it the way she wants to do it, and that's it. If it's not in alignment with how you want to do it, totally okay. If you disagree with me, totally okay. We don't have to agree on everything, but I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. And that may mean that I do some of it and then decide, like, I change my mind. I don't want to do it anymore. And everyone's just going to have to be okay with that. And if they're not, that's okay, because I'm okay with that. Because the part about it for me that I enjoy is that I get to create. And if I need to be, and the one thing about creation is that creation is channeling, right? All forms of creation is a form of channeling. And when you force creation, you stop channeling, which is why it's then hard to do it. Like when you're trying to write or paint or do any form of art, the moment you force it is the moment you're no longer in that channel state, which is why it's hard to do. And so for me, I had to be like, if I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it, because my job is to channel. I'm not shutting myself off, because channeling is my art. And then whatever I create in the process of the channeling is the additional channel that's also part of the art. But I have to be in flow. And in order for me to be in flow requires that I don't do things that I don't want to do, and I don't move when I don't feel like moving. Maybe I want to move tomorrow. I don't know yet. But today I don't want to move at all. And I've had to start honoring that. I'm sure your project is going to be amazing and beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's still like, well, it's not baby stages. Some of it is already starting to be written. But yeah, I'm working on stuff. Thank you so much. Let me go move mine and put on my undies. You're gonna be real comfortable. Oh my gosh, I love this. It's a big stress, and then you get a yes, and it's like a balloon popping because you were expecting way more resistance, which is so true. So true. I was expecting so much resistance, and then I had to sit there and be like, bitch, it was you. The irony. It was me. It's like pulling off the Scooby-Doo the mask, and it's like, oh shit. Like, it was me, but it was one, something I wouldn't have known prior to having it. Like, one, that I had to be in the other, right? I wouldn't have known. So I had to first know what it felt like to not in order to know what it felt like to do. But then it was also a really sort of good like like contrast of showing like what the 9 to 5 will actually do and program into somebody, what holding down a regular job will do and program into somebody, and then program you into thinking that certain things are one way, certain things shouldn't be a different way, and like whatever. And I use that in a lot of aspects of my life, like even with cleaning, right? My husband will be like, "You gonna put your clothes away? They're in the dryer." And I'm like, I don't. One time he was like, "So when are you gonna put your clothes away?" And I was like, "I don't know, over the weekend." And he was like, "This weekend?" And I was like, "Not sure. Maybe. Maybe next weekend. Haven't gotten there yet. But I'll do it when I get moved to do it." Oh, I can't see. Oh my gosh, I love. Oh, but yeah, I hope one of your projects is an oracle deck and one of the cards is "Let me hold your hand." When I tell you I have a lot of ideas, I have a lot of deck ideas. I have so many deck ideas. Decks are something that I feel like I could make in perpetuity. Like I could just make them, because I just have so many ideas. The part of the journey now is learning how to make them. I don't know how to do that. So that's my part where I'm like, I have this really great idea, but I don't know where to start. I don't even know where to find I don't know how to drive this project, but it's okay. I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to learn and I'm going to be comfortable like being new. Like this process has taught me how to just say, "Hey, I'm new at this. I don't know the etiquette. Can you give me some insight? What am I supposed to do here? I have no fucking idea what I'm doing." And then just saying it and not trying to hide it and like not trying to conceal it and just like allow myself to be in the experience of where I am, because I'm not going to always be a beginner, but I am now. And so I might as well just lean into it. So as a non-American, I'm curious about what your thoughts about the guy and the billionaire. I didn't know the health system was so unjust. My thoughts. Well, first, he has a nice smile. I hear they call him the adjuster, and I believe that he is 6'2". Also, a solid set of abs. I feel like though spiritually that it's a really good indicator of where the collective is, at least in the United States, in terms of how people really feel. It was really interesting observing people. It was almost like people took it as a eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. That was almost like the internet's reaction to it. Like, well, the choices that are being made out of this company is choices that are killing people, right? And well, it's a balanced system now. It was really interesting to observe that kind of response. And then I'm curious whether or not that's a strong enough response for these industries to do anything about it. And then I suspect that it's not, because it's way too much money that's being made. Like death, unfortunately, is a real lucrative business. Sickness is a real lucrative business. And so I don't think that there's any plans to do anything about it and change it. Like, I don't know if this is true. I heard it on the internet, and we know how just unreliable the internet is recently, so I don't actually know if it's true. But I heard that he was on his way to an investment meeting, the CEO guy, and that they still had the meeting. Like, now I don't know if that's true. Didn't try to fact check it, but I heard that they still had the meeting even after the whole thing happened. And if that is true, then that's really messed up, because that would mean that like they didn't even care about him, which is wild. But again, I'm not entirely sure if it's true. Oh, it was meant for Denise. All right, whatever. Oh, that's funny. Uh, can't wait to have a mystic deck. I'm excited. I just gotta figure out how to do it. Love you, Mystic. Can you give some advice on where to start if you're interested in spiritual things? Well, hmm, that's a real. I'm trying to. That's that. A memory just came back to me. Um, I would say start with whatever interests you specifically. And if it's a lot of things, just go with all of it. And the reason why I say that is I once, one of like the first teachers I had. I remember at that time I was just interested in everything. So I was reading all the books and I was buying everything. I was buying decks, I was buying runes, and I was buying astrology, any kind of super spiritual book I can get my hands on, I was buying it. And the reason why was I was in the exploration phase. I didn't know what I liked. I just knew that I liked all things that were spiritual. And so I was willing to learn all about it. And I had wanted to learn where things came from and what cultures things were deriving from. And so in the very beginning, I bought all of it, all the crystals. I had rocks everywhere. They were in my pockets. I once got stopped by airport security because they thought I had a bomb because pyrite looks like a bomb in the machine. Like I had rocks and symbols and stickers, and it was just like and I remember feeling in a state of awe because it felt like I was a child digging through my toy box. And I remember my mind was so lit up and it was just all this fun new information. And I enjoyed that process and I enjoyed doing everything at one time. And over time, when things didn't really interest me anymore, they just slowly dropped off and I was left with some things that I still really liked. But that teacher, the first one that I had, she found out that I was learning about everything and studying everything. And then she yelled at me in the class, in front of the class, and then told me that I was doing too much and that I shouldn't be doing that and that I should have only picked one thing and that I was supposed to be going slow. And I remember being so defeated by that because I was so excited to tell her about all the things that I was learning about because it was the first time I felt like I was in a space where I can openly talk about it. And so I was like, I'm studying about this thing, and I signed up for this class and this class. And I was just like so excited about it. And then she yelled at me in front of the class. And I remember sitting there for the next 2 hours feeling like really embarrassed and wanting to like slink into my shell because here I was, my mind is lit up. And like, I just got yelled at for learning. So I would say, in terms of where to start, is where you're guided to be. If you walk into a store and you walk over to the wall of crystals and that was just where you were guided to go in that moment, then start there. If you walk in and then you wander over to a book section, and it has like green witch magic and is teaching you herbal recipes and you're like, this sounds fucking dope, then start there. If you spend an hour in that store and then you end up with a whole basket full of shit and you're like, this sounds cool and this sounds cool and this sounds cool, then get all the shit and take it home with you and start there. The one thing about spirituality is that you will go where you're called. It'll call you. And you've been called if you are interested. So if you feel interested, then that's where you start. And as you learn about things over time, your interests will start whittling around and whittling down what's for you and what's not for you and what you like and what you don't like. You may have an interest one minute, then it bores you, and then you put it down for a little bit and you don't like it anymore. It's part of the journey. It's part of the experience. He was weirdly good looking. Right? So cute and smart. A squabble up teacher. Yeah, that bitch. It's really interesting too, because she actually taught me a lot of things, but the thing that stands out the most with her is that experience. There was two experiences. That was one experience. And then I had another experience with her when she like embarrassed me in front of the class too. And that always was really interesting because the reason why I was so excited about her was because that was the first time I had saw representation. She was another Black woman. And at that time, looking for representation was really important because, well, first of all, it was a different time. Now there's representation everywhere. All you got to do is open TikTok, right? You see a lot of different people, but that wasn't the case at the time. At the time, you didn't talk about it. It still wasn't something that was publicly discussed, and you damn sure didn't put it on the internet, right? And so there wasn't necessarily an abundance of representation, and so it was just a lot of white women. And to be quite honest, that was hard for me in the beginning because you're trying to figure out where the information is coming from. Is the information culturally relevant to you? You're talking to me about deities, but like I have nothing to do with Vikings. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so what does that mean? And how do I apply to, like, how do I fit into this? Also, it was really important to me at that time because esoteric teachings was only for the privileged. Esoteric teachings, and this is considered esoteric. Right now, we call it spirituality because it's more mainstream. It's becoming part of pop culture. But at the time, it's considered esoteric. And when it dies down and when this is no longer pop culture, it will go back into being considered metaphysical and esoteric, right? And esoteric teachings originally was only meant for the privileged white men, usually gentry of sorts, so somewhere close to royal, right? Um, and very wealthy. Those were the only people that had access to this information. And then eventually it was opened up to like white women, right? But in terms of who had access to the information, it worked its way down a societal hierarchy, right? And so when I got into it, it was very important that I found representation because I just felt like I needed to understand. And anyway, this teacher was the first time I had representation. So when I found her, I was so excited, but then she ended up being so mean to me. And so that was another part of the reason where I was like, well, fuck, now here I go. Gotta go be fucking representation. Let me go now serve in the role. What a mercurial experience. Some teachers are the biggest haters. Met a few when I was a child. Oh, for real. I feel like sometimes it happens when the teacher couldn't keep up with the connections we make. So the box get LOL. I don't know what that means. Anyway, guys, I've been on here long enough. I'm going to leave you with that. I've already yelled at you enough for the day. Okay. So I'm just going to let you marinate on some of the things I said. Going to let you sleep on it. You know, nurse your tears, nurse your wounds a little bit. Your brightness irritated her, I guess. I mean, it could have. Or maybe she was also just irritated. Maybe she just was having a bad day. You know what I mean? And maybe someone said that to her. Maybe that's how she learned it, you know? Because when I came in, the information was passed, it was passed from generation. Like, it's very new how we do it. First, okay, before we end, I want to vent just a little bit. It was different. If you got the information from people who were trained, people who were societally vetted by society in some kind of way or capacity, and it was more of a sacred transfer of information. And a lot of times prior to learning, like in these classes, it was a lot of meditation. There was a lot of practices of gratitude. Some would have prayer elements that were mixed up in there somewhere. But there was a duty when the information was passing from person to person. And then when the person received the information, there was an understanding because it was communicated to you that you were supposed to act in a responsible way with it, that you weren't supposed to use it to manipulate people or to hurt people or to lie to people. Then when you started to open up your sort of psychic abilities, that you weren't going to disrespect people, like that you were going to be responsible with it. Even at that time, some classes even made you sign things that like made you agree to this kind of stuff, that you were going to be like a responsible participant in this and that you were going to do right by society. And that doesn't exist anymore. And it doesn't exist because of social media. Like even at one point, like tarot readers were not necessarily well respected, but there was a bit of an air of reverence towards them in terms of them being like kind of like an oracle. Like think about like to ancient teachings or like stories that you hear like ancient like Greece and stuff like that, where they had like the oracle of Delphi or something like that. Like every time you hear about an oracle, like they were brought gifts. They were respected so much that people brought them gifts. When you think about like high priestesses in like different tribes, you bring them something, you bring them a gift, you bring them some kind of respect. They were respected in society and what it was that they did, and they were supposed to respect the society in which they served. But now we got TikTok. And none of that is being passed over. None of it is being passed over. Part of the teachings is that you would not induce fear. Like that was like part of like traditional teachings, that you will not induce fear in people. You go on YouTube right now and look up tarot reading, and like that's just not what it is. It's nothing but fear, and it's nothing but anxiety and crazy shit people are saying. Like I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Like, and it's beyond anything that I would have initially it's turned into pop culture. And so there's a part, it's been cheapened, unfortunately. And it sucks because there's some really good creators. There are some like really good creators who like they mean so well, and they've got like such these beautiful messages, and they're being drowned out by these situations. And the craziest thing is, the people that are contributing to that don't actually know that they're contributing. I actually, like, a lot of it isn't even, I personally don't think, intentional. And the reason for that is because they learned how to do it through watching the internet. And I'm part of that. They learned how to read tarot cards from watching people on the internet. So I contributed to this as well. You know what I mean? And which, fuck, because that wasn't what I was initially trying to do. Right. And so it's something that like grew ahead. And then also, because they're learning on the internet, that additional information of like, be responsible isn't necessarily being passed on. So they don't know. And so they don't actually know that they're being irresponsible, which makes it more dangerous, because then they're just like way out of line, and they don't even know that they're like way out of line. Like, so like, you ever notice that like I don't read like celebrities? I'll talk about a politician, because if you are in a position where you can make an impact that affects me, I want to know what it is, right? But like celebrities specifically, ever notice that I don't read them? It's because we were taught not to do that. We were taught not to read people in general without their permission. We were taught not to read minors, not to read people that were under the age of 18 and could not consent. We were taught that it was rude and irresponsible to just look into somebody's life without being invited in, like a vampire. Like, even vampires have ethics. They're not going to just walk in your house. You understand what I'm saying? Like, even they have ethics. The field had ethics. And and because of just the nature of social media, and social media has done this with everything. It's not just this, it's just done it with everything. But because of the nature of social media, the ethics is not there anymore. And so I'm curious about, like, long-term, due to the lack of ethics, will the respect still be there anymore? Because I'm telling you, I'll be watching some of these people, and when I tell you they're pulling shit straight out of their ass, they're pulling it out of their ass. When I'm telling you, and they be massive accounts, like they're massive accounts, and they're pulling it out of their ass. Spirit told me. Spirit didn't tell you that shit. Spirit doesn't say that shit. Spirit tells me you have a dark attachment. Spirit doesn't say that shit. So what the fuck are you talking to? It's not Spirit. And here's the other issue. I don't think that they do that because they want to talk to, like, whatever is not on the frequency that I fuck with. I don't actually think that that's the case. When you traditionally learn, you learn how to keep your energy and your frequency at a certain level. You are taught, like, this is like, you're taught what a spirit guide is and how to communicate and how to match the frequency. You're taught how to block your energy, how to protect your energy, how to shield your energy. That's all part of the teachings, and which is why it was like esoteric and like secret teachings, because it's like energy work. It's not just learning how to read tarot cards. You're learning the whole aspect of it. How to see, how to perceive, how to guard, how to protect, yeah. And so the issue is with the internet, people are only getting pieces of information. And so they're sitting up there saying, well, you got dark entity attached to you. And I'm like, well, fuck, what the fuck are you talking to? Because if you were taught, this is how I know no one's being taught, that would have never come out of your mouth. It would have never left your mouth. So, yeah. So for someone like me, it's a little bit sad to see. It's a little bit sad to see because I'm like, it's cheapening it. It's also a lot of the reason why I don't read tarot on the internet, because I don't want to be grouped in with that. So I keep it strictly to like this, you know what I mean? I keep it on this side, but I don't want to be grouped in with that. I don't want to be identified with that. And so it's like, no, I know how to read tarot. I know how to teach tarot. I happen to read it, but I'm not a tarot reader because I don't want to be grouped with that. Now it's extremely chaotic and nuanced. I know there's been people who use spiritual info for nefarious deeds, but now a lot of people don't know when they are doing or what they're doing not so great things in things in a more way. I think I got what you're saying. Yeah. I had an ex who turned out to be a vampire and they didn't know they did so. They didn't know that they were a vampire? Which reminded me of tarot reads videos I used to watch more often. I barely do now. Someone pulled 10 cards for each 3 words they said. Still healing from that and learning to be ethical. That's okay. It's all a journey. It's all and that was part of part of the what I didn't realize. Like what happens, I just wanted information to be accessible because that kind of information wasn't accessible to people like me. But I didn't think about what happens when it becomes accessible. Then what do we do? And I think we're seeing that literally across the board. Like I was watching something on CNN today and they were like, what do we do with AI? AI is harming our children. It's accessible, but then we went, oh shit, what do we do now that it's accessible and everybody has access to it? What do we do with it? And so I think it's going to go through that kind of phase where people figure out what to do with it. And it's interesting because yeah, all I can say is just vet your spiritual leaders and your spiritual teachers, including myself. Don't take shit that doesn't resonate. If I say something that doesn't resonate with you, don't take it. If I say something and you disagree with me, that's okay. Don't feel like we need to agree. We don't. Still love you. You know? But vet the information that's coming to you. Don't keep it just because it came out of someone that you like. Like, vet all of that information. A lot of those people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't. They're just saying shit because it hits and they're getting views. Because I'd be watching it and I'd be like, y'all are, like, you are really grasping. Like, I don't even know where you got that from. Like, none of that shit makes sense. You just made all that up. They are good storytellers, though. I will give them that. Anyway, guys. All right, I'm gonna go now. Have a good evening, a good morning, a good afternoon, wherever you are. If you're still here or you're still here on the replay, can somebody timestamp for people? That's always really, really helpful for people. And yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.